The vast darkness of space stretched before the Voyager's hope. A salvage vessel operated by a mixed crew of 5 different species, each representing a corner of the Galactic Alliance. The ship drifted slowly toward their target, a derelict human vessel that had been floating at the edge of Alliance space for over 50 years. "There she is," Captain Wren said, his 8-octagon eyes narrowing as he studied the image on the main view screen. "Oblivion's wake." His first officer, a Mevlani named Sila, stepped forward. Her translucent skin shimmered with neural patterns as she processed the information. "The dangerous ship," she translated, her voice carrying the melodic undertones of her species. 50 years in the void, rejected every attempt at contact. Wren continued, his tentacles shifting nervously across the command console. "They say its defense systems are still active after all this time." Drox, the ship's Tyrillian engineer, snorted through his respiratory filters. "Human technology, primitive but persistent, like weeds that grow through concrete." Wren turned to face his crew. In the soft blue light of the bridge, their diverse anatomies cast strange shadows against the walls. "The Council has declared this a priority mission. After the Stellar Wars, human artifacts became rare. This might be the last intact warship from their fleet." "Or a graveyard," added Hera, the ship's archaeological AI, her holographic form flickering beside the captain. "Records indicate 27 previous vessels attempted contact or salvage. None succeeded. 15 were damaged. 3 destroyed." Wren's skin darkened with determination. "That's why we're here. The Alliance wants answers." The captain didn't mention the substantial reward for successful retrieval of human technology. He didn't need to. Everyone knew that despite the Alliance's official stance of honoring all member species equally, human artifacts were considered dangerous relics of a violent past. The official history taught that humans had nearly destroyed the galaxy during the Stellar Wars, before the Alliance had reluctantly intervened, saving civilization but leaving humanity a scattered, subjugated species. As Voyager's Hope approached the derelict ship, Wren couldn't help but admire its design. Despite 50 years of cosmic radiation and micrometeorite impacts, Oblivion's wake maintained an ominous elegance. Its hull was a deep obsidian, absorbing rather than reflecting light, making it appear like a void against the starfield. Its angular construction suggested offensive capabilities, with what must have been weapons ports now sealed shut along its length. "Begin standard approach pattern," Wren ordered. "Broadcast Alliance identification on all frequencies." Sila complied, her fingers dancing across the communication panel. "Broadcasting." Minutes passed in tense silence as they drew closer to the derelict. "No response," Sila reported. "As expected," Wren said. "Prepare probe deployment. Let's see if—" A sudden alarm blared throughout the bridge. The view screen flashed red as a targeting system locked onto their vessel. "Defensive systems active," Drox shouted from his station. "We're being scanned." "Impossible," Hera interjected, her holographic eyes widening. "Power signatures indicate the ship should be dormant. There's no crew. No—" A beam of energy lanced out from the human vessel, striking Voyager's Hope. But instead of the destructive impact everyone braced for, the beam simply washed over their shields, scanning but not damaging. "It's analyzing us," Sila whispered. The beam retracted, and for a moment, silence returned to the bridge. Then, all at once, every communication system on the ship activated. A sequence of pulses, long and short, repeated over and over. "What is that?" Wren demanded. Hera's hologram flickered as she processed the signal. "It appears to be a human communication method, Morse code, an ancient binary system of communication." "What does it say?" Wren asked. Hera paused, her expression showing surprise. A programmed response to unexpected data. "It's repeating a simple message. Human, come." The bridge fell silent. "Human, Ren repeated, the word feeling strange in his mouth. After 50 years of rejecting every approach, it wants a human? Drox laughed, a harsh sound through his filters. Good luck with that. Humans are practically extinct. Not extinct, Scylla corrected. Just rare. The population control measures after the wars ensured their numbers would never again threaten galactic peace. Ren turned to his communications officer. Contact Alliance Command. We need a human. The response from Alliance Command came swiftly, and with a level of priority that surprised even Ren. Within hours, a small contingent of Alliance officials had convened via holographic projection in Voyager's Hope's conference room. Admiral Tev, a Vexarian known for his hardline stance on security matters, dominated the conversation. His scaled face filled the largest projection, his vertical pupils constricting as he spoke. This mission has been elevated to Priority Alpha, the Admiral announced, his voice resonating with the natural authority of his species. The artifact you've discovered may contain technologies we previously believed lost. All we know is that it's asking for a human, Ren explained. We haven't been able to establish any other form of communication. Admiral Tev nodded, his expression unreadable beneath his ceremonial battle ridges. We've located a suitable human in the Citizenship Registry, a technician working on Outpost 7, near the Rim territories. A human with clearance? Scylla asked, surprised. Humans rarely received security clearances above basic civilian levels. Not exactly, Admiral Tev replied. This one has been useful to us in the past. A technical specialist with some archaeological knowledge. They will be temporarily elevated to assist with this mission only. The implication was clear. This human was a tool to be used and then returned to their proper place. Their name, Ren asked. Jack, the Admiral replied. They go by Jack. After the transmission ended, Ren remained in the conference room, his tentacles drumming thoughtfully on the table. Something about this mission felt wrong. The urgency, the high-level interest, the specific request for a human. It all suggested that Oblivion's wake held secrets the Alliance both coveted and feared. Captain, Hera's voice interrupted his thoughts as her hologram appeared. I've been analyzing the ship's design. It appears to be a prototype not found in Alliance records. Meaning what? Meaning, the AI continued, that this might be from before the wars. A lost design, perhaps experimental. Ren nodded slowly. Which explains the Council's interest. Indeed. And there's something else. Hera's hologram flickered slightly. The message. It's not just requesting any human. The full translation of the Morse code includes an authorization sequence, as if it's looking for a specific clearance. Could this Jack have such clearance? Impossible to say, Hera replied. Human military structures collapsed after the wars. Any such clearances would be centuries old. Ren rose from his seat, his mind made up. We'll proceed as ordered, but keep analyzing that ship. I want to know what we're really dealing with before we let anyone aboard. Jack received the news of his reassignment with the careful neutrality that had kept him alive for years. On the outside, he was Verita, a nondescript maintenance technician on a forgotten outpost. Only the ship's computer knew that within the green-tinged skin and modified facial features was one of the few remaining pure humans in the sector. The Alliance official who delivered the orders didn't look him in the eye, typical behavior toward his kind. Humans were tolerated, barely, as a remnant of a dangerous past. In the century since the Stellar Wars, the Alliance's revisionist history had transformed humans from defeated adversaries into galactic villains whose ambition had nearly destroyed civilization. Jack knew better. His grandmother had passed down the real history, as her grandmother had done before her, how the Alliance had feared human adaptability and technological progress, how they had struck preemptively, destroying Earth and major colonies in a surprise attack, How the survivors had scattered, hiding their identity when possible, living as second-class citizens when not. "You leave immediately," the official said, sliding an access chip across the table. "A ship is waiting." Jack nodded, betraying no emotion. "What exactly is this assignment?" "You'll be briefed en route." 3 hours later, Jack sat aboard a military transport, watching the stars streak by. He had brought nothing with him except the clothes on his back and a small data chip hidden beneath a false molar, a family heirloom containing fragments of human history that would get him executed if discovered. The transport pilot, a Mevlani, hadn't spoken a word to him since departure. Jack was used to such treatment. To most Alliance species, humans were at best a curiosity, at worst, a dangerous relic. When the Voyager's Hope appeared in the view screen, Jack studied it carefully. A Rimward-class salvage vessel, modified for deep space exploration, well armed for a civilian ship, which suggested whatever mission he'd been dragged into carried significant risk. As the transport docked, Jack prepared himself for the familiar routine. Be useful, stay quiet, reveal nothing. Captain Wren was waiting when Jack disembarked. The Octaron's multiple eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of curiosity in his species. "Welcome aboard Voyager's Hope," the captain said, his voice formal but not unkind. "I'm Captain Wren." Jack offered the standard Alliance salute. "Technician Verita, reporting as ordered." If the captain noticed the slight pause before the name Verita, he didn't show it. Instead, he gestured toward the corridor. "This way. The crew is waiting in the briefing room." As they walked, Jack took careful note of the ship's layout, exits, and security measures, habits that had kept him alive during previous special assignments for the Alliance. The briefing room contained 3 other crew members, a female Mevlani, whose skin rippled with neural patterns, a bulky Tyrillian with enhanced respirator implants, and a holographic AI with the appearance of an ancient Lydian. "This is my first officer and xenolinguist, Sela." Wren began the introductions. "Our engineer, Drox, and our archaeological AI, Hera." Each acknowledged Jack with varying degrees of formality. The Tyrillian, Drox, barely looked up. "And this," Wren continued, "is Technician Verita, sent by Alliance Command to assist us." Sela's neural patterns flickered with what Jack recognized as surprise. "Verita, but I thought—" "The techs at Outpost 7 call me Jack," he interrupted smoothly. "It's easier for most species to pronounce." The tension in the room shifted slightly. Jack knew what they had been expecting. A designated human, not a green-skinned, near-rim technician. "Let's get to the briefing," Wren said, activating the room's holographic display. An image of a sleek, dark vessel appeared, rotating slowly above the table. "This is Oblivion's Wake, a human vessel that's been drifting at the edge of Alliance space for 50 years. Jack felt his pulse quicken but kept his expression neutral. A human ship? Surviving from before the Purge? Despite numerous attempts, Wren continued, no one has been able to board her. The ship's defense systems remain active and have repelled all approaches. Until yesterday, when it transmitted a message specifically requesting human contact. "And you need me because," Jack asked, already knowing the answer. "Because we need to find a human," Drox interjected bluntly. "Alliance registry shows only 17 in this sector." Jack allowed himself a small smile. "Then you've wasted a trip. I'm Veridan, not human." The room fell silent. Then Scylla stepped forward, her translucent skin glowing with neural activity. "We know that's not true. Jack!" She activated another holographic display. Jack's true identity file appeared, complete with genetic profile and modified appearance details. "You're actually a registered journalist," Scylla continued, "operating under a false identity to document conditions on the rim." Jack's mind raced through escape scenarios, contingency plans, ways to deny everything. But the evidence was there, floating in glowing detail above the table. "How long have you known?" he asked finally. "Since you came aboard," Wren answered. "Your transport sent biometric data ahead. Standard procedure for all Alliance vessels." Jack nodded slowly. "So this is an arrest?" "No," Wren said, surprising him. "It's a recruitment. We need your help, and Alliance Command has temporarily suspended any charges against you." "In exchange for what?" Wren gestured to the rotating image of Oblivion's wake. "We need you to board that ship and determine what it wants. If possible, deactivate its defenses so we can salvage it." Jack studied the image, his mind working quickly. A human ship, intact after all this time, specifically asking for human contact. It could be a trap, or it could be... "What happens after?" he asked. "If successful, you'll receive a commendation and reassignment to a Central World facility," Wren said. "Better conditions than Outpost 7. A gilded cage instead of a distant one," Jack thought. Still, the opportunity to access a genuine human artifact was too valuable to refuse. "I'll do it," he said. "When do we start?" The answer came in the form of an alarm blaring throughout the ship. Hera's hologram flickered urgently. "Captain, Oblivion's wake is scanning us again. More intensely this time." Wren's eyes blinked rapidly. "On my way. Bring him," he ordered, rushing toward the bridge. By the time Jack arrived on the bridge with the others, the main view screen showed Oblivion's wake, firing another scanning beam toward them, more powerful than before. "It's trying to penetrate our shields," Drox reported from his station. "Looking for something, or someone." "Put us on visual display," Wren ordered. "Let it see inside the bridge." The exterior cameras activated, providing Oblivion's wake with a clear view of the bridge and its occupants. The scanning beam intensified, sweeping across each crew member before settling on Jack. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the beam retracted, and the Morse code signal returned, this time with a different message. "Human identified," Hera translated. "Prepare for authentication." "Authentication?" Wren looked to Jack. "What does that mean?" Before Jack could answer, a new beam shot from Oblivion's wake, targeting him specifically. Unlike the previous scans, this one was focused and precise. "It's taking a DNA sample," Sela realized as the beam swept over Jack's body. Jack felt a tingling sensation as the beam passed through him, like static electricity across his skin. Then it was gone, and the ship fell silent again. "Did it hurt?" Wren asked. "No," Jack replied. "It felt familiar somehow." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Incoming transmission," Hera announced suddenly. "Audio only." "Put it through," Wren ordered. A female voice, crisp and artificial yet somehow warm, filled the bridge. "Human genetic sequence confirmed. Permission to board granted to Subject Jack and essential support personnel only. All weapon systems remain active. You have 24 hours to comply before this invitation expires." When the voice fell silent, every eye turned to Jack. "It knows your name," Scylla whispered. "That's impossible," Drox argued. "The ship has been adrift for 50 years. This human wasn't even born then." Jack said nothing, his mind racing. How could the ship know him? Unless... "We need to report this to Alliance Command," Wren said, breaking the tension. "Sela, prepare a full transmission. Drox, I want a shuttle ready in 2 hours. We're going aboard." As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Jack remained on the bridge, staring at the dark silhouette of Oblivion's wake. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to feel something dangerous: hope. Admiral Tev's response was immediate and forceful. His holographic form dominated the conference room, scales flaring with barely contained excitement. "This confirms our theories," he said. "The vessel must contain a functional AI system capable of identifying human genetics. The technology alone is worth the risk." "Risk?" Wren questioned. "The ship has invited us aboard." "It has invited the human aboard," Tev corrected. along with essential support personnel. You will accompany him, Captain, along with your xenolinguist and engineer. The AI stays on Voyager's Hope to maintain communications. Wren noticed how the Admiral referred to Jack as the human, rather than by name, a common dehumanization tactic in Alliance speech. Our orders? Wren asked. Explore the vessel. Identify its capabilities. Determine if it can be safely recovered or if it must be neutralized. Tev's vertical pupils constricted. And keep the human under surveillance at all times. We don't know how it will react to a ship from its species past. After the transmission ended, Wren found Jack in the ship's observation deck, staring out at Oblivion's wake. We board in 90 minutes, Wren informed him. Scylla and Drox will accompany us. Jack nodded without turning. The Admiral doesn't trust me. It wasn't a question, but Wren answered anyway. The Admiral doesn't trust anyone. That's why he's an Admiral. And you, Captain, do you trust me? Wren considered the question. I trust that we both want to survive this mission. Beyond that, we'll see. Jack finally turned, his expression unreadable beneath his artificially green features. Fair enough, but there's something you should know before we board. Which is? That ship recognized my DNA, but that's impossible unless it's programmed to recognize all human DNA. Which means whatever is controlling it doesn't just want any human. It wants a human representative. Representative for what? Jack's eyes, the one feature his cosmetic modifications couldn't completely disguise, held Wren's gaze. That's what we're going to find out. The shuttle approached Oblivion's wake cautiously, its minimal weapon systems powered down as a show of compliance. Jack sat in the co-pilot seat beside Wren, while Scylla and Drox occupied the rear compartment, surrounded by analysis equipment. Are you going to tell me why you were operating under a false identity? Wren asked, breaking the silence. Journalist seems an odd cover. Jack kept his eyes on the approaching ship. The truth about humans doesn't match Alliance propaganda. I document the real conditions of my people. Dangerous work. Necessary work? As they drew closer, details of Oblivion's wake became clearer. The ship's hull bore the scars of ancient battles, plasma burns and impact craters that had never been repaired. Along its side, barely visible beneath layers of cosmic dust, was a faded emblem, a circle of stars surrounding a stylized Earth. The United Earth Defense Force, Jack murmured, recognizing the symbol from his grandmother's stories. This is a military vessel. Wren's tentacles tensed on the controls. Human military? From before the wars, Jack confirmed. A remnant of when we still had a unified government. The history texts say humans were divided, fighting among themselves when the Alliance intervened. Scylla commented from behind them. Jack didn't bother correcting her. The Alliance's version of history was so deeply ingrained that the truth would sound like conspiracy. As they approached a docking port on the ship's underside, a voice, the same female voice from earlier, spoke through their communication system. Shuttle identified. Proceed to docking bay 3. Atmospheric conditions are nominal. No external contaminants detected. It's maintaining life support after 50 years? Drox asked incredulously. Apparently, Wren replied, guiding the shuttle toward the indicated bay. The docking bay doors opened smoothly, revealing a cavernous space designed to accommodate multiple vessels, much larger than their shuttle. Wren brought them in gently, setting down on a marked landing pad near the center of the bay. Docking complete, the voice announced. Welcome to Oblivion's wake. UEDF Prototype Vessel 7. Human Representative. Please proceed to the bridge. Support personnel may accompany. Jack checked his environment suit one last time. Though the ship claimed atmospheric conditions were safe, standard protocol required suits for first contact with derelict vessels. Stay alert, Wren instructed, as they prepared to disembark. We don't know what we're walking into. The shuttle's hatch opened with a hiss, revealing the vast docking bay beyond. Unlike the exterior of the ship, The interior appeared remarkably preserved, almost pristine. Soft blue lighting activated as they stepped out, illuminating a path toward an interior doorway. Motion sensitive, Drox noted, scanning the lights with a handheld device. Still functional after all this time. Power readings are off the scale, Scylla added, checking her own scanner. This ship has an active reactor, something far more advanced than standard human technology of the era. Jack said nothing, taking in the surroundings with a mixture of awe and unease. This was his heritage, a piece of human history thought lost forever. But why had it surfaced now? And why had it called for him specifically? The interior door slid open as they approached, revealing a long corridor beyond. "Please proceed to the central elevator," the ship's voice instructed. "Bridge access is restricted to upper levels." They followed the illuminated path through eerily empty corridors. Occasionally, they passed closed doors labeled in an ancient human script that even Jack struggled to read completely. "Research labs." He translated one sign. "Propulsion theory." "A research vessel?" Wren asked. "Partially," Jack replied. "But the UEDF designation means it had military applications too." When they reached the central elevator, its doors opened automatically. Inside was a simple control panel with only 3 accessible buttons. "Bridge level authorized," the ship announced as they entered. "Proceed." The elevator rose smoothly, giving no sensation of movement except for the changing numbers on a digital display. When it stopped and the doors opened, they found themselves facing a spacious bridge unlike any Alliance vessel design. Unlike the utilitarian command centers of modern ships, this bridge featured a circular design with workstations arranged in concentric rings around a central command chair. Large view screens covered the walls, currently displaying various parts of the ship's exterior and interior. "Welcome to the bridge," the ship's voice said, now emanating from the room itself, rather than their communication devices. "Human representative, please approach the central console for formal introduction." Jack glanced at Wren, who nodded cautiously. As Jack stepped toward the command chair, the floor beneath him illuminated with each footstep, creating a pathway of light. The central console activated as he approached, projecting a holographic image of a woman dressed in what Jack recognized as an ancient Earth military uniform. Unlike Hera's clearly artificial appearance, this hologram looked almost perfectly human, with only a subtle translucence betraying its non-physical nature. "Greetings," the hologram said, using the same voice they'd heard before. "I am Astra, Autonomous Strategic Tactical Response Algorithm. I serve as the primary artificial intelligence for Oblivion's wake." Jack stood before the hologram, aware of the others watching tensely from the elevator doorway. "I'm Jack." "You are human," Astra corrected gently. "The first to approach this vessel in 52 years, 4 months, and 17 days. Your genetic profile has been authenticated and logged." "You were waiting for a human?" Jack asked. "I was programmed to respond only to human authorization after activation of the preservation protocol." Wren stepped forward cautiously. "What is the preservation protocol?" The hologram turned to regard him, its expression neutral. "The preservation protocol was activated during the final days of human resistance against the Alliance purge. This vessel was designated as a secure repository of human knowledge, technology, and cultural data, to be preserved until contact could be safely established with surviving human populations." The bridge fell silent. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. The AI had just casually confirmed what the Alliance had denied for a century, that the Stellar Wars had been a systematic attack on humanity. "That's a malfunction in your historical database," Drox said firmly. "The Alliance intervened in human civil conflicts to restore peace." Astra's hologram turned to face the engineer. "False. Alliance forces launched simultaneous attacks on all major human settlements on March 17, 2427. Earth was targeted with planet cracker weapons. Mars' colony was bombarded with antimatter charges. The Ganymede and Europa stations were destroyed with all inhabitants. This was not intervention. It was attempted genocide. Jack saw Ren and Scylla exchange troubled glances. Even Drox seemed unsettled by the AI's matter-of-fact delivery. "If this is true," Ren said carefully, "why would the Alliance hide it?" "Because history is written by the victors," Jack answered before Astra could respond. "And they nearly were victorious." "Nearly," Astra nodded. "Correct. The Alliance believed all significant human military assets were destroyed. They did not account for deep space research vessels like Oblivion's Wake, which were designed to operate independently for decades, if necessary." "How many survived?" Jack asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Unknown," Astra replied. "This vessel lost contact with other human ships during the initial assault. Based on last transmissions, approximately 17 vessels may have escaped, carrying between them an estimated 8,000 human survivors. 8,000, from a population that had once numbered in the billions. Jack felt the weight of that knowledge like a physical burden. "Why reveal yourself now?" Ren asked. "After 50 years of isolation?" Astra's hologram gestured to Jack. The preservation protocol specified that the ship would remain dormant until conditions indicated a reasonable chance of human survival within the new galactic order. Recent scans of passing vessels showed increasing genetic diversity, suggesting the protocol's conditions had been met. "And now that you've found a human," Scylla asked, "what is your purpose?" Astra's expression became solemn. "To fulfill my final orders, preserve human knowledge, locate surviving human populations, and, when possible, assist in the restoration of human sovereignty." The implications of those words hung in the air. Jack could practically see Ren calculating how quickly he could report this to Alliance Command, while Drox had subtly shifted his hand closer to what was likely a concealed weapon. "I'd like to speak with Astra alone," Jack said suddenly. "Absolutely not," Drox replied immediately. "Actually," Ren said, surprising everyone, "I think that's reasonable. This is part of his people's history. We can monitor from the shuttle." Jack gave Ren a grateful nod, sensing that the captain was offering him something rare: trust. "Very well," Drox conceded reluctantly. "But we maintain visual contact from the shuttle." As the others filed back into the elevator, Jack turned to face Astra's hologram. "They're going to try to destroy this ship," he said, once the elevator doors closed. "I am aware," Astra replied calmly. "Alliance protocols regarding human military assets are quite clear. That is why I have already taken precautions." "What kind of precautions?" The hologram smiled, a surprisingly human expression. "First, I should show you what I've been protecting all these years." "In the shuttle." Ren watched the bridge on a monitor as Jack conversed with a holographic AI. Beside him, Drox paced impatiently, while Scylla analyzed data from their brief exploration. "We need to contact Admiral Tev immediately," Drox insisted. "That AI is dangerous. It's spreading human propaganda about the wars." "Is it propaganda?" Scylla asked quietly. "Or is it possible that our history isn't as straightforward as we were taught?" Drox turned on her, his respiratory filters flaring. "Are you suggesting the Alliance committed genocide? That's not just revisionist. It's treasonous." "I'm suggesting," Scylla replied calmly, "that history is complex, and we've only ever heard one version of events." "Enough," Ren interrupted. "We will report everything we've learned. But first, we need more information." He turned to the communication panel. "Hera, are you receiving our transmission?" The archaeological AI's voice came through clearly. "Yes, Captain. I've been monitoring your exploration and comparing the vessel's design to known human artifacts. It's unlike anything in our database." "What about this Astra? Have you ever encountered references to such an AI?" "No," Hera replied. "Human AI development was believed to be primitive compared to Alliance standards. This Astra, appears to be far more advanced than historical records suggest humans could create. Wren nodded thoughtfully. And the ship's claims about the war? A pause. I cannot verify or refute them with available data. Alliance historical archives regarding the stellar wars are selectively detailed. Meaning classified, Wren translated. Indeed. Drox made a dismissive gesture. This is pointless. We should secure the human and prepare this vessel for Alliance recovery teams. Or destruction, Sela added softly, depending on what the Admiral decides. Wren was about to respond when an alert sounded from the shuttle's sensors. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, he announced, checking the readings. Alliance military vessels, heavy cruiser class. The Admiral must have dispatched them when we reported finding the ship, Drox said, satisfaction evident in his voice. Wren wasn't so sure. The response seemed too quick, too decisive. He opened a channel to Voyager's Hope. Hera, are you tracking these new arrivals? Yes, Captain, the AI responded. 7 Alliance vessels have taken position around us. Admiral Tev's flagship, the Inexorable, is among them. Have they hailed us? No, Captain. They've established a perimeter around Oblivion's wake, but have not attempted communication. Wren felt his skin darken with concern. That's not standard procedure. No, Hera agreed. It is not. On the bridge of Oblivion's wake, Jack followed Astra's hologram to a sealed door at the rear of the command center. At the hologram's gesture, the door slid open, revealing a small chamber beyond. This is the heart of the preservation protocol, Astra explained as they entered. The complete repository of human knowledge, culture, and technological development up to the moment of the Alliance attack. The chamber contained a single crystalline structure at its center, pulsing with soft blue light. Surrounding it were what appeared to be neural interface chairs, seats designed for direct mind-to-computer connection. Is that a data core? Jack asked, approaching the crystal cautiously. Much more, Astra replied. It's a quantum memory matrix, capable of storing not just data but experience. Every book, film, piece of music, scientific discovery, and personal account from Earth and the colonies was compressed and stored here. Jack stared at the crystal in awe. The complete legacy of humanity. Yes, and it was meant to be shared with survivors when it was safe to do so. Is it safe now? Astra's expression turned grave. No. Alliance forces have surrounded this vessel. Their intentions are hostile. How do you know? I can access their communication bands. They are discussing whether to attempt salvage or simply destroy this ship with all aboard. Jack felt a surge of panic. We need to warn the others. They already know, Astra replied. But they cannot help you now. Admiral Tev has ordered them confined to their vessel. Jack's mind raced. What can we do? We can fulfill the preservation protocol's ultimate contingency. Astra gestured to one of the neural interface chairs. This ship possesses technology the Alliance never discovered. A jump drive capable of instantaneous transportation across vast distances. Faster than light travel without traditional hyperdrive? Jack asked incredulously. Yes, but it requires human neural patterns to navigate. The quantum nature of human consciousness allows for calculations that even I cannot perform. Jack approached the chair hesitantly. You want me to interface with the ship? I want you to save what remains of your heritage, Astra corrected. To take this knowledge to other human survivors. How do you know there are others? Astra's hologram smiled. Because Oblivion's wake was not the only ship to escape. The others carried the seeds of new human colonies, hidden, isolated, but alive. Jack stared at the neural interface, weighing his options. If he refused, the Alliance would either destroy the ship or strip it for technology, erasing the last comprehensive record of human history and culture. If he accepted, he would be branded a traitor to the Alliance, hunted for the rest of his life. What about Captain Wren and the others? He asked. They can leave before we jump, Astra replied. I bear them no ill will. Jack nodded slowly. Then let's warn them first. Aboard the shuttle, Wren received the transmission from Jack with growing concern. He says Alliance forces are preparing to either seize or destroy the ship, he told Scylla and Drox. The AI has detected their communications. Impossible, Drox scoffed. Alliance military channels are encrypted. Apparently not encrypted enough, Scylla replied. But why would they destroy the ship with us still aboard? Because we've seen too much, Wren said quietly. We've heard claims that contradict official Alliance history. We're liabilities now. You can't seriously believe, Drox began, but was interrupted by a direct transmission from the Inexorable. Admiral Tev's face appeared on their screen. His scaled features set in a grim expression. Captain Wren, you are ordered to evacuate your team from the human vessel immediately. We have detected unstable energy readings and must neutralize the threat. Admiral, we're still investigating, Wren protested. The ship's AI has provided valuable historical information that information is classified and potentially corrupted. Tev cut him off. You have 30 minutes to return to Voyager's Hope before we begin containment procedures. The transmission ended abruptly. Containment procedures, Scylla repeated. He means destruction. We have our orders, Drox said firmly. Wren stared at the monitor, where Jack could still be seen speaking with Astra on the bridge. Something about this entire mission had felt wrong from the beginning, and now he understood why. They had been sent to confirm the ship's importance, and then ensure it never revealed its secrets. Captain, Drox prompted, we need to leave. Wren made his decision. You two return to Voyager's Hope. I'm going back for Jack. That's against orders, Drox protested. Yes, Wren agreed. It is. Back on the bridge. Jack was explaining the situation to Astra when the elevator doors opened, and Wren stepped out alone. Where are the others? Jack asked, surprised. Returning to our ship, Wren replied. We don't have much time. Admiral Tev has ordered the destruction of Oblivion's wake. And yet you came back, Jack observed. Wren's tentacles shifted uncomfortably. I want to know the truth. About the wars. About humanity's place in the Alliance. If everything I've been taught is a lie, I deserve to know. Astra's hologram approached Wren. Captain, your concern for truth is admirable but places you in danger. The Alliance will consider your actions treasonous. I'm aware, Wren replied. But I've served the Alliance for 20 years believing I was upholding justice and peace. If those principles were built on genocide, I need to know. Jack felt a surge of respect for the Octarine captain. Astra was just showing me how we might save the ship. It has a jump drive, technology the Alliance never discovered. Jump drive? Wren's eyes blinked in sequence. Instantaneous transportation? Yes, Astra confirmed. But it requires human neural integration to navigate. Jack must connect with the ship's systems directly. Is it safe? Wren asked. The interface is designed for human physiology, Astra replied. There is minimal risk to Jack, but I cannot guarantee your safety during the jump. Captain, the process was never tested with non-human biologies. Wren turned to Jack. What are you going to do? Jack's expression hardened with resolve. Save what's left of my people's legacy. Find others like me, if they exist. And then? Build something better than the Alliance. A tense silence fell between them. Finally, Wren spoke again. I should return to my ship. Yes, Jack agreed. You should, but I won't, Wren continued. Not if what Astra says is true. Not if the Alliance I've served has been built on lies. Jack studied the captain's face, searching for deception and finding none. You'd be giving up everything. Perhaps, or perhaps I'd be finding something worth fighting for. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the bridge. Astra's hologram flickered with urgency. Alliance vessels are powering weapons. Impact in approximately 5 minutes. No time for debate, Jack said, moving toward the neural interface chamber. Are you with us, Captain? Ren hesitated only a moment before nodding. Yes. As they entered the chamber, Astra's hologram took on a more focused expression. Jack, you must sit in the primary interface chair. Captain Ren, please secure yourself in one of the auxiliary seats. The jump process may cause severe gravitational fluctuations. Jack approached the central chair with a mixture of fear and determination. As he sat down, neural connectors extended from the headrest, positioning themselves around his temples. This will create a direct connection between your consciousness and the ship's navigation systems, Astra explained. You will need to visualize our destination. But I don't know where the other human colonies are, Jack protested. You don't need to, Astra replied. The coordinates are encoded in your genetic memory, a safeguard built into the descendants of the original survivors. The interface will access that information directly. Jack took a deep breath and nodded. I'm ready. Initiating neural interface in 3, 2, 1. The connectors touched Jack's skin, and his world exploded into light. His consciousness expanded beyond the confines of his body, merging with the ship's systems. He could feel every circuit, every power conduit, every molecule of the vessel, as if they were extensions of his own nervous system. And somewhere, buried deep in his mind, coordinates bloomed like stars, locations of human outposts scattered across the galaxy, hidden from Alliance detection. Target acquired. Astra's voice echoed both around and within him. Jump drive charging. Through the ship's sensors, Jack could see the Alliance vessels taking position, weapons primed and targeting. He could hear their communications, the cold, methodical orders to destroy Oblivion's wake and eliminate all evidence. Jump drive at 70%, Astra announced. Alliance weapons firing. Jack felt a surge of panic as he sensed energy torpedoes streaking toward the ship. But, with his expanded consciousness, he could also manipulate the ship's defenses, raising shields that the Alliance had never known existed. The impacts shuddered through the vessel, but the shields held. Jump drive at 90%, Astra continued. Second volley incoming. We won't survive another barrage, Ren warned from what seemed like a great distance. We won't have to, Jack replied, his voice sounding strange to his own ears. Jump drive ready. Executing now. Reality bent around Oblivion's wake. Space itself seemed to fold, creating a tunnel of pure energy that engulfed the ship. For an infinitesimal moment, they existed everywhere and nowhere at once. Then, with a flash that would have blinded anyone watching, Oblivion's wake vanished from Alliance space, leaving Admiral Tev's forces firing futilely into empty void. The jump lasted both an instant and an eternity. Jack experienced the passage through space as a cascade of sensory information, too vast for his conscious mind to process. Stars, planets, entire systems flashed through his awareness, leaving impressions like half-remembered dreams. When reality reasserted itself, Oblivion's wake had emerged in a remote system far beyond Alliance territory, a binary star orbited by a dozen planets, one of which glowed blue-green with the unmistakable signature of life. Jack felt the neural interface gradually release his consciousness, returning him to the limitations of his physical form. As the connectors retracted, he slumped in the chair, exhausted but triumphant. Jump successful, Astra announced. We have arrived at the coordinates encoded in Jack's genetic memory. Ren, looking shaken but unhurt, helped Jack to his feet. Where are we? Jack pointed to the view screen, which now showed the life-bearing planet growing larger as they approached. Home, he said simply. Or at least, a new one. Scanning the planet, Astra reported. Detecting human life signs. Approximately 50,000 individuals. Also, detecting artificial structures and low-level technology, consistent with early colony development. They've been rebuilding, Jack whispered, awe in his voice. All this time, they've been surviving and rebuilding. And they never forgot, Astra added. I'm receiving a transmission from the surface. They recognize this ship's design. Put it through, Jack requested. A voice, unmistakably human, filled the bridge. Unidentified vessel. You have entered protected space. Identify yourself immediately. Jack stepped forward, his voice strong despite his exhaustion. This is Jack, aboard the United Earth Defense Force vessel Oblivion's Wake. We come as friends, carrying the preserved knowledge of Earth. A long pause followed. Then, Oblivion's Wake? The repository ship? It actually survived. Yes, Jack confirmed, along with everything it was meant to protect. The joy in the responding voice was unmistakable. Landing coordinates are being transmitted. Welcome home. Oblivion's Wake. Welcome home. As the transmission ended, Jack turned to Ren, whose multiple eyes were fixed on the approaching planet with wonder. What will you do now? Jack asked the captain. Ren's skin darkened thoughtfully. I can never return to Alliance space. Not after this. But perhaps I can help build something better here. There will be suspicion, Jack warned. These people have survived by hiding from non-humans for generations. Then I will earn their trust, Ren replied simply. As you have earned mine. Astra's hologram appeared beside them. Captain, I should inform you that your crew aboard Voyager's Hope are safe. Before we jumped, I transmitted coordinates of a neutral trading outpost where they could seek refuge. Admiral Tev will likely assume they perished with us. Ren nodded gratefully. Thank you, Astra. What about the Alliance? Jack asked. They'll never stop looking for this ship, for what it contains. Let them look, Astra replied, with a hint of satisfaction. This system is beyond their current exploration range, and our jump drive technology leaves no trace to follow. By the time they develop the capability to reach us, perhaps the balance of power will have shifted. As Oblivion's Wake descended toward the planet, Jack looked out at the growing details of the surface, the patches of settlement, the cultivated fields, the signs of a civilization rebuilding itself from near extinction. We should contact the other colonies, he said. Unite them. In time, Astra agreed. But first, you must share what you've brought them, the complete cultural and technological heritage of humanity. And then? Ren asked. Jack smiled, feeling truly hopeful for the first time in his life. Then, we build something better than the Alliance. Something based on truth and cooperation, not conquest and lies. A new beginning, Ren mused. No, Jack corrected him, watching as the first human settlement came into view below. A continuation. We were never truly defeated, just scattered. Now, we can reconnect the fragments and remember who we were, and decide who we want to become. As Oblivion's Wake settled onto the landing pad, a crowd of humans gathered to witness its arrival. Jack stood at the airlock, ready to step onto a world where humans lived free, without hiding their identity or history. Behind him, Ren and Astra waited, representatives of a different future than the Alliance had envisioned, one where humanity's legacy would not be forgotten or suppressed, but would instead become the foundation for a new chapter in galactic history. The airlock opened, and Jack stepped forward into sunlight and possibility.